So for a second straight night, a middling Big Ten underdog pulls off the upset. This time, Northwestern over Pitt at the Pinstripe Bowl that did not disappoint for a third consecutive year between the Big Ten and the ACC. Mark Rogers TV with instant analysis of the Wildcats win. Just a second bowl win for Pat Fitzgerald in 7 tries in Evanston. Let's go to the big play of the game. It was when Pitt was trailing in this one at 31-24, driving down the field with backup quarterback Ben DiNucci in the game. The true freshman playing very poised, very well, running when he needed to, and throwing the ball on time and on the money. And he delivered this one. 3rd and long. Down the middle, post pattern by Scott Orndorff, and what a play by the Northwestern secondary on this one. It was Jared McGee, and it was Parker Westfall converging on Orndorff, who had the ball right in his midst for the game-tying touchdown. And those two guys converged, and they broke it up, forced a 4th and 10, and then McGee, after making that pass breakup, intercepted the ball inside the 5-yard line for the Wildcats, who took it home from there. That was huge because it obviously denied the scoring play, leading by 7. Now, Northwestern did elect to throw on 3rd and long with under 2 minutes left to play, punted back to Kadri Henderson, the special teams unit, coverage unit for Northwestern, doing a nice job of pinning Henderson back, but still, Pitt and DiNucci had less than 50 yards to drive to try to tie the game. But it was the interception then by Northwestern down the sideline by number 21 that ended it 31-24. So this one, very similar in a sense to the Temple-Wake Forest game in regards to one team for the first 3 or 4 series looking like the dominant team. Pitt was all over Clayton Thorson with its pass rush over the first couple series. And actually, Justin Jackson, despite the gaudy, unbelievable numbers at the finish, was bottled up his first few carries. Austin Carr did not see the football, the 1,200-yard receiver for Northwestern, until very late in the first half as Pitt took a 3-0 lead as they stymied Northwestern on their first 2 drives and went up top to Dantes Ford over Troy Williams, first play of the game for Pitt off the play action down to the Northwestern 20. The Wildcats stood up to the challenge inside the red zone, forced the Chris Blewett field goal from 46 yards. It was 3-0 at that point. Northwestern couldn't get anything going the first couple of drives. As we mentioned, James Conner, though, stuffed on 4th and short. It looked like he had enough room to get over the goal line, but the Wildcats denied him on 4th and inches at the goal line. So Pitt denied there. Northwestern takes over at the 1, and this was the beginning of the back-breaking plays that Northwestern made on both sides of the ball. Justin Jackson for 68 yards. He was caught from behind, but it led to a score for Northwestern, and the Wildcats, after looking completely overmatched on the of the first couple drives, broke out to a 7-3 lead on the Justin Jackson touchdown, of course. Pitt had a couple big plays, but then Nathan Peterman had a horrible interception thrown into the end zone. Northwestern came back, Thorson right down the field into the red zone, but he threw up a jump ball for Austin Carr that was picked off in the end zone, so it stayed at 7-3, but Northwestern got it back, and they continued to move the ball on a porous Pitt secondary that we talked about, the second worst pass defense in the nation, giving up 344 yards per game coming in. And Wilson had a big day with a number of key catches for Northwestern. This one set up, he had a 3rd down conversion. Then Austin Carr came back on a 12-yard play, his first reception late in the first half. And Justin Jackson, once again, the great balance, the great effort into the end zone. He was stopped at the 4-yard line. He spun off the defender, stuck his hand to the ground, kept his balance, hurled into the end zone. Bam, it's 14-3 at that point. Nathan Peterman, I thought he was on the money. He was flush from the pocket a number of times, threw from different angles, different levels of the field. The short, the intermediate, and the long tosses were all accurate. Nathan Peterman, despite the one interception I mentioned in the end zone, looked really good on this day. Unfortunately, he was knocked from the game a little bit later. But before that happened, Jester Wee, with a fly pattern down the right sideline, took it 65 yards for the touchdown. It was 14-10 at half Wee has been a big play receiver for the Panthers all season, second in the nation with 23 yards per catch. Second half, Kadri Henderson, this happened a number of times on the jet sweep. He had nearly 90 yards on jet sweeps. Kadri Henderson did. He had a touchdown, 17-14. This thing went back and forth, and Justin Jackson was just the workhorse once again. He came into the game with 1,300 yards rushing. He ran for about 230. I know that he had the Pinstripe Bowl record in his grasp, and then on the final drive and trying to kill the clock, lost 7 yards. So he might have lost the record, and I believe he did, but whatever. He's the MVP of the game, and his Northwestern team wins at 31-24. He just, again, was tremendous. His counterpart, the more heralded James Conner, we know his story coming back from cancer, gaining 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns, just getting onto the field. And really, maybe the best part of the game was seeing the tribute paid to James Conner by Holly Rowe of ESPN, talking about the influence and the impact that Conner had on her life coming back from cancer, on the practice field, running sprints, working out every day, and getting her on the treadmill, giving her a will to compete and fight cancer. That was very inspiring. Back to the game, Conner unfortunately shaken up, blow to the head. He had to leave after 8 carries and 32 yards. Same thing happened to Nathan Peterman. He was knocked from the game after completing 13 of 18 for 253 yards, the one touchdown we mentioned, and the pick. But Ben DiNucci, the future of the Pitt program, freshman, came in, and he made basically no mistakes until that final interception. And, of course, he was playing under duress and under some panic-type situation there on the last drive, needing to make a play. It was a third and long play. Northwestern, this was phenomenal. In the touchdown drive that took the lead, they went for it on 4th down 4 times. They converted each time, of course. The final play was a 4th and 2 inside the 20, where Clayton Thorson found Dickerson for the big play on that one. It was Dickerson. They completely lost the tight end, and Garrett Dickerson came into the game with 29 catches for 4 touchdowns, and he had a big game for the Wildcats as well. Northwestern, Pitt, they gave us a show. 2 not phenomenal teams, not 2 of the better teams in the country. You would probably rate both these teams. Pitt certainly 23rd in the nation coming in. I don't think they're that good. I think they showed us again that the defense keeps them from top 25 status as they finish 8-5. Northwestern, Pitt, both top 40 teams, and they put on a show. And this is what bowl season is all about. As mentioned, for Pat Fitzgerald, he wins his 2nd bowl game, the 2012 Gator Bowl against Mississippi State, but he's generally taken it kind of hard during postseason play, and his Wildcats drubbed by Tennessee a year ago. For Pitt, they've looked bad in postseason play as of late. Lost to Navy last year. The one win was against a MAC team, Bowling Green, in recent years. Blew a 28-6 lead to Houston. So that's going to be a goal in future seasons of Pat Narducci there at Pitt to look better in postseason play. For the one team in Power 5 football that defeated both Penn State and Clemson, 2 top 5 teams and 2 conference champions. Let's talk about the Pinstripe Bowl and the future of Pitt football and what Pat Fitzgerald has going on there at Northwestern. It's the Wildcats finish at 7-6 right here on Mark Rogers TV.